It's been a hot minute.
Been a long while.
It's been a long time. But hey, I saw you in DC.
DC. Let's go, DC.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah. I was just listening. I'm just jamming. I'm enjoying it.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another episode of King of the Court. We are your hosts, Tyler and Jimmy, and we are also both in orange.
We are.
We did not coordinate this at all, I promise.
We didn't, but we look good. You look good, you feel good.
Exactly. All right, so it's been a slow week, hasn't it?
Yeah, super slow. It's weird. Like nothing's going on in the pickleball world. It's odd.
Actually, that was sarcastic. I feel like it's been quite a while since we've last had our pod. It's probably been a week and a half or so. I feel a little bit disconnected with you guys, so hopefully you're enjoying this. Big shout out to our title sponsor of King of the Court, which is the Pickler. Love the Pickler. They are the premier indoor facilities in the entire world. They've sold over 300 franchise locations. This year is a big year for them. I think they're around 10 to 11 current indoor facilities.
And I actually was told that I think they have 30 something under construction right now.
Their goal by the end of this year is around 40.
Yeah, it's insane. It's incredible.
So, pretty
Great
sweet
growth. Yeah.
So thank you for the support. If you're interested in starting your own business with the Pickler, being a franchise owner, or just being involved in the pickleball scene, reach out to them at pickler.com and tell them the boys at KOTC sent you.
Yes.
Also, another shout out to our sponsor, Pickleball Central. We love them. However, you guys are a little bit too wild and have been using our code a bit too much. And so sometimes Pickleball Central shuts on and off our code. And so I do not know if the code is active. If it is, go out there and buy as much as you can because we do not know how much longer it will last.
Yeah, they essentially, you guys, thank you so much. Yeah, you spend too much, which is great.
Yeah.
And Pickleball Central, they don't love when you spend that much.
Exactly.
They do and they don't. Right?
Love-hate relationship.
Yeah, it's a fine line. They're like, oh my gosh. And then they're like, there's no possible way that these guys are actually getting that much from their code. And so then they shut it off and they try to do a little research, make sure it's not showing up on those coupon sites. And then they realize, no, it's the KOTC fans.
Exactly.
The KOTC fans are loyal, and they're all rich because they have nothing better to do. They're all retired at home.
Exactly. Also, breaking news somewhat.
Breaking.
This has been in the works for quite some time. But did you know we have a newsletter, Jimmy?
I just found out.
Did you sign up or subscribe?
I subscribed with all 7 of my email addresses.
All righty. So if you are interested in staying up to date with us, make sure your notifications are turned on. And also we have a new KOTC newsletter that free to sign up. We just kind of send out updates, breaking news, stuff like that. So make sure to subscribe to that. The link is also in the description for the newsletter.
Yeah.
Okay, Jimmy, how was your last week?
It was busy. Could have gone better. I mean, let's just get right into it. Let's just call it what it is.
So let's talk about it. Yeah, both of us had a great record. So
DC, MLP, Washington, D.C. I'll give you a little bit of a quick synopsis here. So when we were trying to book the Airbnbs for our team.
For those that don't know, Jimmy is associated. He's the president of the California Black Bears.
Yes.
So and they are in Challenger at this moment.
We're in Challenger, and if we may end up in Duper 20s the way we're playing. But with that being said, we did a little research. So first, we weren't sure if it was indoor or outdoor. So we Google Maps.
So these are all the excuses coming out right now.
No, these aren't excuses. I'm just saying. So we Google mapped the facility, and they had a big indoor section, right? So we were like, oh, maybe we'll play indoor. We're not sure. And then we looked for Airbnbs that were close, and we found this Airbnb that it looked nice, right? It looked pretty nice on the inside. We booked it. Let's be 100% transparent. It was $4,500.
Okay.
For the week.
Okay. For the Airbnb.
For the Airbnb. For the week. We book it as a team, and Tuesday night, Amanda Hendry shows up to the Airbnb.
She's the first one there.
First one there by herself. And essentially, it's in a horrible area. Her car gets surrounded. She gets catcalled. She gets harassed.
I'm not laughing. This is a very serious situation.
Yeah, she couldn't even get out of the car. Like it was a very scary situation for her. She calls Rafa. Rafa just tells her, get in the car and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Like, get out of there. So we end up booking the team on a different Airbnb that's about 35 minutes from the facility. I actually don't know if we got a refund on the other one. Richie's dealing with that. But it became a kind of a, like, I felt bad for Amanda, and I'm glad she's okay. But I think when we first told people, because we were one of the first teams there, when we first told people that story, they were like, come on, like, it can't be that bad. Well, then other teams start showing up to their Airbnbs close to the facility.
Yeah.
You guys had an Airbnb.
We did.
The Black Diamonds.
Yeah.
And I believe the text from Connor Pardo was,
we don't feel safe.
we don't feel safe. We're out of here.
Yeah.
So you guys.
A bunch of the neighbors had signs that said, thou shalt not kill.
Oh.
In their front yards, which,
yeah.
I mean, it's a good reminder. You probably shouldn't kill people.
It is, but the reason it was there was a reason that they had those signs.
Thou shalt not kill.
Yeah. And so you guys pieced out. There was a couple other teams, and I think the only team that stayed in like a really questionable was Ben Johns.
Uh-huh.
His team stayed.
Oh, they stayed.
I heard that they stayed.
I thought they left.
Oh, maybe they ended up leaving.
Gotcha.
Anyways, it was wild. Everybody got out of there. So now we're going to this facility, and the facility is right in the heart of where, again, people aren't feeling safe. So you pull up to the facility.
I thought you loved the ghetto, Jimmy.
I actually do. I actually do like the ghetto. And Ryan Dowagen got after me for making fun of the venue, and I'm still going to make fun of it.
Uh-huh.
But it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy the ghetto, and I think that there's a part of it for everybody. But we show up to the facility, and we showed up the first day because we had to practice Wednesday at like 9 a.m.
Okay.
So we're the only team there when we get there. And championship court's not done. So we go to these back tennis courts, and there's like cracks on the sidewalk. There's weeds coming up out of the ground.
Yeah. A little bit of moss.
Moss everywhere. Honestly, like, I mean, we'll call it what it is. There's the projects are overlooking the courts. Tina Pisnick picked up a shell casing.
Yeah.
9mm shell casing off one of the courts.
Yeah.
It was just interesting. It was just different from where MLP usually is. Now, if you're trying to bring in a different audience and expand, I guess that makes sense. But anyways, it was crazy.
Okay, moving on. How was the performance? So
I will say this: once you got inside MLP, like inside the championship,
GS and CC were actually pretty nice.
Where GS and CC were fine. That didn't have any issues at all. But the surrounding areas was sketch. In fact, you had to shuttle from RFK Stadium. If anyone's seen RFK lately, where they were called the Redskins at the time, where they played, it is like falling down.
I wonder how many homeless people are living in that stadium.
Oh, 100% people are living there.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's probably a full city. Zombie apocalypse. Walking Dead lives there. But it was, so you had to shuttle, but then there was all these open streets. And I said this to Jason Perry. This is what's so funny is I said, how come nobody's parking on the street? Like you can park right next to the venue.
Yeah.
Well, I guess some people did on the last day.
At least on the last day, there were at least 7 cars that got broken into.
And 7 cars got broken into.
Like right outside the venue.
Yeah. So straight in front of the venue, there's like this hill and people were parking right there.
Yeah.
And they got their cars broken into and smashed. So anyways, gives you an idea. So
DC is sweet though. Downtown is sweet.
Downtown DC was great. Everything else was great. We went to Down the Line Sports Center to practice. Awesome facility. Shout out Jenny Bay.
Yeah.
Also, her restaurant was amazing. Our team.
Okay.
Our team did not perform well. There's no way to put it.
So I think going into it, you had predicted an 8-0 record or 7-0 record.
Well, we had really high expectations. Now DJ got hurt, and so we had to pick up Spencer Smith.
Okay, which he played great
2 days before. Spencer Smith was probably our most consistent player.
Yeah.
On the weekend, he did an awesome job. We did not. It was weird. So we just couldn't quite finish. For example, we had 24-20 in one game. That would have given us a match, and we lost. We had another game point that would have forced a dream breaker, and we lost. We had another one. Like, we realistically could have walked out of there 3-4 pretty easily. And then there was a couple games where we just got waxed. I mean, Miami just destroyed us, and Atlanta. Atlanta just... Our girls actually won in Atlanta, but they came back. Big comeback. But we just didn't play well, and we didn't really put it together. Here's the weirdest thing about MLP, though. Brooklyn finishes like 4-1 or whatever. Okay. Their point percentage differential is like 48 point something. And they finished 4-1.
Yep.
We finished ahead of Chicago. And we're at 48.7. It's actually higher. Our point differential would actually put us in like 5th or 6th place. And that's kind of how MLP is.
One thing to note also is both of our teams did not play in Atlanta.
No.
So this was our first event as a team.
Yeah. So the bottom 6 teams, just to be clear, the bottom 6 teams that in MLP from Premier and Challenger did not play. They've only played one event.
Yeah.
I don't know if that has to have something to do with it.
A little bit. I mean, it's not making excuses.
Yeah, no, it's no excuse. Like I said,
facts.
Yeah, no excuse. I mean, we lost our number 12 pick right before, right? Like, actually, we were 10. We were only 10 teams, so number 11 pick.
Yeah.
Right before. I mean, Spencer played great, but it still hurts you. And we just didn't play well. We didn't put it together. I got a lot of grief.
How's the morale on the team?
It's good. I mean, dude, we have Rafa. Like, our morale's always going to be good. Rafa's a good teammate. I mean, I think that Emily had a couple moments where she felt a little shook, right? Like Emily would play really, really well and then still not win a match. And I think it was frustrating. But overall, I mean, this is the difference that people aren't understanding. It is a long season. We're not even 20% through. Dipshit Jim Kloss was talking shit on Twitter already.
Oh yeah. He was messaging me, wanting me to let you know that he essentially drafted the Night Owls.
He's so full of shit because he wanted Krista Getcheva. He wanted Krista Getcheva over one of their players. And
I'm just saying that's what he said.
Yeah. That dude is a clown. And again, they won and this is props to them. Caitlin Kerr did a great job. I'm not giving Klaus any credit. Caitlin did a great job, but they also won 4 of their 5 matches in Dream Breakers.
Well, that's what they drafted for though.
They did, but they were against us. They were we were up 24-20.
Yeah.
They were 1 point away from not even making a Dream Breaker. That's what I'm saying. These things can shift.
Yeah.
Go to the Premier side. The Hustlers were terrible in Atlanta. They were a bad team.
Yep.
And they went 5-0 and right.
In fact, they lost one.
No, they're undefeated.
They're undefeated?
In DC, yeah, they went 5-0.
Oh, I thought they lost one.
Yeah. So they were undefeated. So think if you're after Atlanta, if there would have been a drop date, a waiver wire, there's a good chance that CJ Klinger's not on that team anymore.
What are your thoughts? So I think teams need to go 3 guys, 3 girls, 6 people total.
Yeah, that's what
2
we were
and
told.
2 is too much.
That's what we were told would happen
or
in
too
Challenger.
little.
Yeah, we were told that would happen, and then in typical MLP fashion, 15 minutes before they changed the rules. And yeah, there should be 6 players.
There should be. If somebody gets injured or if you need to change stuff up, I mean, this is crazy. Like right now, today is the waiver wire. Like all the trades are happening and stuff like that. And I mean, we talked about this with AJ, but AJ was talking about MLP last year, and he's all like, if you have one bad match or one bad day or something like that, you could be cut, which is...
Recency bias is massive in MLP.
Yeah.
It is, and you could be cut. And I mean,
which you need to perform better, but it's still, I mean, there's
or
basketball players, football
or if
players.
you have one good match. Here's an example. Vivian Glausman played great for the Breakers in MLP.
Yeah.
She's been playing well lately. She just got traded for Elise.
Yeah.
Right? Like Elise is now on the Breakers playing Challenger.
Yeah.
And not that Elise played poorly. Her and Rachel had pretty decent results. They're okay. But Glausman's playing well right now, and so they make that trade. Like, yeah, it's interesting. People have, it's kind of a revolving door.
Okay.
In MLP. So, I mean, let's talk about just a couple matches and then we'll go into the waiver.
Anything else you want to add? Yeah, we don't have time to get into every single match.
No. The one match that I'll say though, that made me really think that MLP has a viable product and that MLP could be back was the DC Hustlers match.
Okay.
The crowd, I mean, it was 10 o'clock in the morning. The crowd was pumping. It was completely full. It was loud. It went to a Dream Breaker. Rachel Rohrabacher. Okay. She screams after every single point. And she has Elise who also screams after every single point.
Double scream.
Rachel is a fiery player. She clearly is one of those players that she has to hate you to beat you. She's like the MMA fighter that can't, like you and still punch you in the face. So it's just like she gets this RBF and she gets pissed but like, I think that helps her. I really think it helps her. Right? She's not joking across the net. Jay DeVilliers will joke with you across the net. He'll joke after points.
Yep.
They're just different types of players. There's not one right or wrong. Well, there was a guy in the stands, big KOTC guy, big fan. He's probably watching right now. He was front row every single day. Okay. Well, he was cheering for the Hustlers.
Was he in the VIP?
Yeah, VIP guy.
He was incredible.
Yeah.
He was
absolute
awesome.
stud.
Yeah.
I met him. I can't remember his name. I'm sorry. I met him. Great guy. He told me he had a 2% mortgage and he'd refinance right now just because it's with me. And he was there every day. And he was awesome.
Yeah.
And those are the type of fans. Well, he was cheering against DC. He's cheering hard for the Hustlers. I mean, he has that right.
Yeah.
Rachel's family seemed to be getting frustrated with him. In fact, I heard a member of her family basically say that they were debating if it was worth a night in jail to punch him in the face. Okay. It makes me laugh because she is screaming after every single point, and then you have a guy that's just cheering and you're taking it that personal. Remember, Rachel's the one that also was encouraging Johnny Goldberg for his counting Connor Garnett's missed serves. So it's like, if you're going to be that person and you want to be that dog that Anna Bright likes to call people, right? Then you got to be able to back that up and you got to be able to take that.
Yeah.
Like that's fine. If that's who you are, then own it. Right? That's one thing that I will give credit to Travis Rettenmeyer for. That's who he is. He owns it.
For the most part, yeah.
Yeah. And he owns it. And it is what it is. But if she's not going to own that and she's, going to get upset and annoyed and all these things when she's over here talking shit, that's weird to me. And so that was kind of the only like real drama. But that match was awesome. The fans were going crazy.
That wasn't when Ben played them because did he tell Rachel or was it Elise? He shushed
Rachel.
Was it Rachel or Elise?
It was Rachel, yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was Rachel.
Because Elise was the one that was screaming.
Yes, but Rachel was too. That's what I'm saying. They both are. And Ben turned and he hit a winner and he shushed her.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I said, they were loud, but that's what that's the energy MLP brings. That match went to Dreambreaker, by the way. And I want to say that the Hustlers were down 20-16.
2016, yeah.
And they won it.
Yeah.
Jackie Kawamoto went
You might be getting that one mixed up with Carolina. That was when Leia was against Colin Johns. She was
that was a 2016,
yeah,
you're right.
Yeah.
You're right. In the DC one, Jackie Kawamoto went 9-1 against Elise.
Wow.
Because Leia, I guess, was having some, what's the word? Insulin.
Gotcha.
Her blood sugar was low.
Yeah.
And so she was struggling. When she's playing Rachel, you could tell she just wasn't moving well.
Yeah.
And Jackie, freaking 9-1.
Yeah.
I mean, that's huge. And we know Ignatowicz sucks in Dreambreakers.
That's like me versus Annalie. I got 1 point.
At least congrats for getting 1 point off me.
Exactly.
A lot of exciting matches, though. So that was big. The Shock went 2-1 or 3-1. They ended up losing to the Hustlers. So they were, I think, all the time on the PJs and, they're wearing their Billikens jerseys. Yeah. I think it made them a little bit soft, but I think I saw them out to an expensive dinner. They're at this place, St. Anselm's. It was expensive steak dinner, but I think they were able to dial it back in.
So we've talked about this offline. I'm still at a loss. There's a lot of people who know a lot more than me in terms of MLP stuff, format, rules, everything like that.
Sure. I
don't understand it. I don't understand the business model. These teams, they're spending so much money at the moment. Well, they're spending. But there is zero revenue at the moment.
Well, the business model is like any startup, right? They're hoping for mergers and acquisitions. You're hoping for a TV contract. You're hoping to create a viable.
People don't realize, maybe they do, but one of these tournaments for the teams, not even MLP, but for the teams themselves to get to these tournaments, they're spending anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000, which might not seem like a lot, or maybe it does, but $20,000 to $50,000 multiple times a year without any end goal in sight. That's a lot.
You're probably operating. Most of these teams are probably like a challenger team is probably operating at a $300,000 to $400,000 loss. A premier team is operating at probably closer to $1 million.
Yeah.
Now, but here's the reality of the situation is you're trying to grow the league. You're trying to grow the brand. If you watch that Hustlers versus DC match, if you watch it on TV and you watch the live stream, that shows what the brand can be. And that's the whole end goal, right? You're hoping that this becomes a $1 billion brand and a $1 billion company, and the team values obviously continue to increase. And they are. I mean, we have teams trading for, 15, 16 million right now, which when they're, I believe there were teams bought for 100 to 250,000. That's it.
Yeah.
And so there's still a return there.
Yeah, it's just
how long do they burn?
Mind-blowing, mind-boggling to me.
Well, we have the waiver wire going right now.
Exactly.
Connor Pardo sold the number one pick,
so
number one pick in the waiver wire for $100,000. Yeah. He sold Tyson McGuffin for
50,000
or 50.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pablo Tejas just went to the Aces. That had to be 40 to 50.
So Johnny 5.0 on Twitter on X made a post, and he said, if you were an investor buying a team, would you look more so at the win-loss record, or would you look more so at the revenue record, or both?
Well, you've got to look at the revenue, because these teams, the turnover of these teams is so, it's so quick.
Yes.
Now.
Yeah.
So the win-loss doesn't matter. You can change your team instantly.
Yeah.
You can
with one pick, you can change your team.
With one pick, you can change your team. Because this is the other thing that people aren't understanding. And I got a lot of shit for how bad our team played, and that's fine. I deserve it, and I can dish it out, and I can take it, and we deserve every ounce of it.
You seem a little bit on tilt right now.
Well, I'm just saying we deserve every ounce of it. But in MLP, if one player is missing, that is 25% of your team.
Yep.
There's not another sport out there where one player.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I'm saying it needs to go up to 3 to 6 total.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're missing one player, you're missing 25%. If that one player is a high round pick, now, like, what if, I don't know if there's any first round picks that have missed events yet, but Arizona.
Alshon.
Oh, yeah, Alshon. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the Ranchers did very well in Atlanta. They didn't have Alshon. They had Kwong.
They still did pretty good in DC, but not as good as Atlanta.
Yeah, as Atlanta. Exactly. And so you're missing, 25% of your team. And here's the other thing. Not only are we missing 25% of our team, but we're also choosing after 12 other teams. Right? Yeah. And so you've got to find, in Challenger, it's more difficult in the sense that you got to find that diamond in the rough.
Gotcha.
And there's less money to spend.
Utah Black Diamonds in the rough.
Yes. Find the Utah Black Diamonds in the rough.
Gotcha.
I tried to trade for you.
Any other, so we talk a lot about rumors on the show. We talk a lot about facts, just different stories. When we talk about those, they're fact. Well, not, I don't know about facts, but they're told to us as if they're true. Yeah. And things change very, very quickly. Yeah. And I'm not going to say who, but there was a player that literally got told he was being traded. Within 1 hour, he got a call from the same team saying, actually, you're staying on the team.
Yeah, you're staying.
Like, things move so quickly in the pickleball space in MLP. And so if we say something and it comes out to be not true, when we heard it, it was true.
Yeah, I mean, we could keep that to ourselves, I guess, until it's confirmed, or we can share the dirt.
Yeah.
Which is what we love to do.
Yeah.
Couple other things about MLP that we need to discuss. One, we got a penalty. Our team.
Okay.
For being late to an event. I'm curious your thoughts on this.
Well, you should have known what time it started at.
Well, the problem is, the whole point of rally scoring in MLP is that you have set start times. Well, what they did, because there was no lights in the venue, and nobody wanted to be there after dark anyways, they started doing the followed by. So instead of playing at 12, 2, and 4, they would say followed by.
Yeah.
Well, our team was trying to follow. They were warming up. They were following along on the MLP website, knowing when to play, because you couldn't see the scores of the courts from the warm-up courts. And they, as soon as they saw that match was about over, they hurried to change and they came down. Well, we were told that we were more than 5 minutes late. Even though I was there, they wouldn't let me do the coin toss. And what they did was they took the coin toss away, so the other team won. And then they let the other team choose every option.
I like it.
How are we supposed? I mean, that's wild.
Yeah.
To have all of that like that, that's a huge advantage.
Yeah.
Now Atlanta was playing Brooklyn, and Brooklyn was late, and Atlanta said, "We'll wait as long as we need to."
And they didn't disqualify them.
They didn't disqualify them or anything.
Yeah.
They said, "We'll just wait." Now we played Vegas, and it was Caitlin Kerr who took that, and I don't blame her one bit. I would take all those. If someone's going to offer that to me, I'm going to take it all. But it's just a weird situation, because it's like it's not like I don't want my players. It was, this, it was 95 freaking degrees. Oh, you weren't there Saturday, but it was Saturday, 95 degrees.
Yeah.
I don't want my players standing around on this court for 15 minutes waiting for this match to end.
Yeah.
So there's just little things that
there's a lot of little minor details. Another thing is we showed up for our match. I think it was at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
Maybe 10. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
4 minutes before start time, Callie Smith realizes that she did not get her paddle tested.
Oh.
So Connor Ogden, he claims he's super fast. Anyways, he ran up to the testing. He got it tested and was able to get it back to her within 3 to 4 minutes. And we were able to start. But to me, that's just crazy that could happen.
What do you think about the YOLA? Let's go to paddles real quick. About the YOLA players.
Your favorite.
Some of those YOLA players still using basically the Gen 2.9s. And they're using those prototypes that they got sent to them in November.
Yeah.
Because the Gen 3s are banned.
I think they need to come out with very clear rules, numbers, thresholds that these paddles can't pass or whatever it is, and then stick by those. Those paddles those YOLO ones you're referring to, those are very, very, very hot. A lot of people think they're nearly identical.
Aren't they the same paddle as Essence?
Nearly. I mean, in essence, yeah. To our knowledge.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I mean, I think, it's a sticky situation, but I think there needs to be a very clear limit threshold that they cannot pass, and they have to test them.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, they're still very hot paddles.
Yes. Yeah.
You know who?
And it looks like they are starting to scale back a little bit, but they are hot.
You know who might? His paddle helps, but he also might have the freaking most power in all of pickleball.
Who?
Freaking Daniel De La Rosa. That black ace helps.
Doesn't matter what paddle he's using.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
He is.
Yeah. And I've said this before, but I think a lot of the powerful paddles do hurt players sometimes.
Yeah.
They can't control it.
But if you don't think pickleball compresses, you've never watched that dude hit.
Yeah. I mean, they for sure do. It's depending on the shot.
Yeah.
A lot of times I say balls don't compress, and I'm talking about the dinks, 2 mile an hour dink.
Yeah.
That's not going to compress much.
He played. I am not sure he missed him or Martin Emmerich. I'm not sure they missed a shot against us.
Well, Aces think so because Martin got traded.
Yeah. For sure.
Do you see the ref? I think they kicked out the first spectator in MLP.
Yeah, they booted him. Yeah, he's arguing. I love it, dude. I think that, honestly, if you stayed around Championship Court and Grandstand, it was a great vibe.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
We had a lot of Discord fans there.
We had a big succulent guy.
Incredible to meet
Evan,
him.
He was a great dude.
Yeah. A lot of energy.
Yep. So let's talk. Well, let's go to, speaking of MLP. Did you see the nets?
Yes. So our next sponsor of this segment is C&D Pickleball Nets. They use those nets at MLP. They use them because they're portable and because they're also the very best nets.
So there was a team,
Yep.
the Brooklyn Aces. Mm-hmm. And so they were warming up next to us on Wednesday, and they were going through like a full calisthenics routine. They have like a full trainer.
Yeah.
And he took the bands that they were using,
put them on the net,
nets, and their players were using these bands. I mean, they were pulling, and the nets were not moving.
They weren't moving at all.
Now you got to remember, these nets are not in the post, in the ground. These are portable nets, freestanding portable nets, and they were able to use these bands around these nets and still get their full workouts in without the nets moving.
Yeah.
And it was the Aces. Martin Emmerich is a big freaking dude.
Yeah.
And they didn't move. That's how sturdy and amazing these nets are.
Yeah. Once again, there was another, I can't remember. There was another picture, video I saw of somebody playing at a nice court, and it had this temporary net, like the cheap ones.
Yeah.
If you're going to spend a crazy amount of money on a court, spend a little bit more, get the best part of the court, which is the net.
Yeah.
And you'll enjoy it.
So it's funny because there's a guy that lives by me that just put in a court, and it's one of the sickest courts I've ever seen. And he's got like a $90 flimsy net.
Yeah.
And I literally said to him, I said, bro, you just spent $60,000 on this court.
Yeah.
Why would you put in that net?
Yeah.
So,
in Utah, they have Parade of Homes where they show these bougie $5, $10, $20 million homes, and I like to tour them one day. And a lot of them have pickleball courts, and most of them have the pickleball courts, and they have these cheap $100 nets. I'm like, okay, your home is literally $5 to $10 to $15 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Anyways, if you're interested in getting these quality nets, go check out bestpickleballnets.com. They are C&D and use code KOTC. They do bulk orders. So if you're ordering 3, 4, 5, 10 nets for a gym, a church, a new facility.
There's so many facilities opening now. You guys are missing out if you're not using C&D nets.
Anyways, thank you for the support, and moving on.
What MLP else? Waiver wire, Tyler.
Okay.
The waiver wire begins right now. It started at 10 o'clock Eastern, so it's right now. We've already had some trades. So Elise Jones was traded to the...
Oh, real quick, let's back up. I don't want people to think I'm wussing out or skimping out. What are your thoughts on the Black Diamonds?
Oh, Black Diamonds. I think that Jay is not healthy yet.
Okay.
I don't think he is. He's not moving well.
He's not, no, but I don't think he was as bad as I was thinking he would be. If I had to give him a percentage, I'd give him 70, maybe 75% or so.
So here's my...
So we did awful.
Yeah, you guys didn't do great. You only
played 4.
You played 4. You owned 4.
Yep.
Actually, oddly enough, I think your record ended up decent.
So I'm happy with my play. Everyone's talking about our team. I mean, I did the best I could, and I'm pretty happy with my play.
I just don't think Jay's healthy. The thing that nobody talks about with him coming back from injury, and this is the same thing with DJ, right? DJ pulled out because his wrist is hurt. But if you rest for 6 weeks, now you're rusty. So it's not like you rest for 6 weeks and you're playing. Then you have to come back and get into shape. So even if Jay's ankle is better to play on, he still hasn't been playing pickleball.
I would imagine he has. Obviously
maybe
not to the degree that he was before, but yeah.
Yeah, and so I think that Jay looked rusty. Honestly, I'll be real. Callie didn't play great. I thought Alex had her moments, but I think that it was her first time in Premier. And so, I mean, you're talking 4 high-level matches. Like, the one thing is there are no what we'll call first-round walkovers. Every match you play in MLP is tough.
Yeah. And it can go just like that.
And it can go like that, exactly. And it can spiral. And I think at one point, it was Jackie and Leia were up 17-4 on Callie and...
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it can spiral.
Yeah.
But again, like you said, there's no easy matches. I mean, you play as men's, you guys played Kwong and Pablo, right? That's like, honestly, on paper, probably the easiest match.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after that, you get James and Deckel.
Which they played incredible against us. They played really well.
Yeah. I mean, and then you played mixed, and you end up beating James and Rachel in mixed. And then who'd you guys play the next day?
J-Dub and
then you get, that's right.
Augie
J-Dub and Augie and Augie and Tyra.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just no breaks. And I think, that people kind of on paper.
So how do we get better? So Connor just keeps making money with these trades. So he's up quite a bit.
Yeah. I mean, I think that.
Does he use that money that he's received and go buy a top 5, top 10 player?
Yeah, you have to. I think that's the only way that you get better. Like, that's how you have to get better in this league. I mean, Connor had to make a decision if he thought that you or Jay or Kwong, right? Because Kwong was available, and we know that he was just taken, and Connor traded that slot.
Yeah.
So he obviously made the decision that you and Jay are better, which I agree with. I think that Kwong didn't even get drafted in Challenger for a reason. Like, his doubles aren't there yet.
He is good in doubles. He is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean.
Yeah. And so I think that that's what you have to do. Now, he's got 60 and that's the thing. You guys are in a similar boat. Again, people, it's not an excuse, but your first round pick, in essence, Tyson, refused to play. And so Connor was left scrambling.
Yeah.
So now you're in a tough situation.
So me and Jay, we're just call it 4th round picks, 3rd and 4th round picks. And we're going up against 1 and 2 or 1 and 3 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And that's kind of how we look at things. Like, I mean, we told our players when we're like, dude, you're playing like a 3rd round challenger player and you're a 1st round pick. You can't play like that.
Yeah.
1st round picks have got to play like 1st round picks or you're screwed.
Gotcha.
And so, I think the best way is, I mean, he's got 150 grand now. He's got to go spend on a player.
Yeah.
See if he can get somebody. I mean, and he also gets the next waiver period. Now we know how valuable those waiver picks are.
Yeah.
Whatever you guys end up being, but those are valuable. And if you're 0-4, the chances are you're not going to move up too much after just 2 events.
Yeah.
Because you have Salt Lake and BCO doesn't count, so you just have Salt Lake.
Yeah.
And so even if you go undefeated in Salt Lake, you're still probably going to be like a 3rd or a 4th waiver. So that has value too. So maybe that's how you upgrade.
Gotcha. All right. We were talking about the waiver wire.
Yeah. So the waiver wire is really interesting because we've been getting so much conflicting information about it. So at the beginning of MLP, if you remember, all these players started dropping. Megan Fudge, Yana, Jilly B, Bobby Oshiro, they all just, Brasha, Julian Arnold, they all decided not to play MLP. They started dropping out. Well, they were not available to be drafted. They decided not to play. Well, now this waiver wire pops up, and all of a sudden, everybody's talking to these players again and negotiating with them. And on one side, we're being told if a player took a buyout, they're not eligible to play. On the other side, we're being told, no, you can pick them up, but the league will not pay them any money. You guys have to pay out of pocket. Well, if that's the case, then it's not a waiver wire, it's free agency. And it becomes full-on free agency. And essentially, you could go out. I mean, this is true. Based on what we've been told, I could go out and I could get Mary and Maggie Brasha. I could get Matt Wright, and I could get Julian Arnold.
Yep.
If they would be willing to pay and if I was willing to spend enough money. In Challenger, by the way. Do that in Challenger and have those 4 players. I mean, you give me $400,000, I probably get all 4 of those players. And go roll through everybody. You know, and I just think that's
what you think.
That's not, well, yeah. But that's not the spirit of how it was intended. And MLP made a massive mistake in allowing that.
So they are allowing it.
They are allowing it as of right now. I'm telling you right now, when this podcast comes out tomorrow, there's going to be players who did not get drafted, who should have been, that opted out, that are going to show up on teams. And you're going to see completely new teams tomorrow. Like it's going to be a completely different. And there's going to be players who we're hoping to get picked up off this waiver wire that aren't, because the old guard is going to come back. Yeah. And they're allowing it. And there's under the table deals, and there's money, and there's crazy things happening. So already we had Glassman traded to a premier team for.
Do you think that was a good trade?
I have 2 thoughts on it. I think that it was a good trade for DC.
Okay.
Because I think Glassman is on fire right now. She's playing well.
Okay, but if you look at her past MLP.
Exactly. And Elise did not play bad. She did not play poorly.
She played well. People were saying she didn't play great in Atlanta.
Sure.
But this last one, she played well.
But if we go off of Atlanta, then Jackie and Leia get cut after one event, right? And now they're the clear-cut top women's team. So I think it's okay, but the amount of cash rumors that were being thrown out. I mean, the rumors are that the Breakers got $100K. So if that's true, I mean, they end up with at least $100,000. That's not bad.
Once again, I still don't understand it.
Yeah,
I don't understand it.
If you go on the flip side, the other trade that has been made is Pablo Tejas was traded to the Brooklyn Aces. So he's back in Challenger for Martin Emmerich. However, Martin Emmerich is going to be cut because the Ranchers went and traded their number 7 waiver pick for the number 1 waiver pick. And they picked up Kwong. And so Martin's going to be good. So now Martin's available.
I was almost traded to the Ranchers.
Oh, yeah.
I was.
Yeah.
Literally, they told me I was.
But then you were going to get traded back.
Yeah, right? And then I was going to get traded back. But literally, they told me I was going to the Ranchers.
Yeah.
And then they called me back within minutes.
Yeah. Well, there's a rule that says that you can't just trade back and forth. Like there's a time limit. So,
but that's what I'm saying is like these things are changing by the minute.
Yeah, they change by the minute. So right now the Ranchers had the first pick. They took Kwong.
Oh, by the way, Pardo was hilarious. He's our team owner, GM, or whatever you want to call it. He says the most ridiculous stuff, and he'll say it to the other owners or coaches, and those guys can't respond to him. No, because he's running PPA.
Yeah.
And it's incredible to see the reactions.
He makes me laugh. He's got these crazy. I mean, that dude. I talked to.
He has to be careful, he says, but there are some small things he'll say, and the other coaches, GMs, just have no idea how to respond.
Yeah. So when he was on the sidelines, he was chirping. Someone got mad at him. Oh, was it a ref? Did you see the refs? A ref, they quit.
Yes. Yep.
Because of him.
I was there. Yep.
Was it a guy or a girl?
It was Ponder.
Oh, it was. Oh, I didn't know that.
He made a post about it.
Oh, I didn't know it was Ponder.
Yeah.
So Ron Ponder quit MLP refereeing?
Well, I don't know if it was totally or just that match.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because Connor made a comment.
Well, yeah, I don't want to get into too much detail.
On an out call, basically, is what Ponder said.
It was a non-fault or
foot fault.
kitchen, yeah.
Yeah. And according to Ponder's post, not Pardo, but according to Ponder's post, the replay showed that he was wrong. Mm-hmm. And according to Ron Ponder, Pardo was chirping at him for the rest of the match about it.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Like I said, I wasn't there. You were probably busy playing.
Yeah.
But anyways, that was wild. Yeah, Connor was I was on your bench for one of your matches trying to support, and he was like, some of the stuff he was saying was pretty funny. Like when he tells a player that's a spot and you found their weakness, just keep hitting it to her. Oh, it's pretty funny. So waiver. Back to the waiver. Sorry, we got off topic. These waiver picks are going on right now. Basically every 30 minutes a team gets to choose. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much movement we're going to see in Premier, but it is possible. But Challenger is going to be crazy.
Yeah.
Challenger, we're going to see almost complete. I mean, you may almost see complete new teams. Mm-hmm. And like right now, if you're not planning on making any moves in Challenger, there's a chance by the end of the first round with all the people that have been picked up and dropped that you might. Mm-hmm. So nobody's really safe right now. But it's just strictly free agency, and it's whoever has the most money at this point. I mean, there's been we got contacted by an agent. How funny is this? We got contacted by an agent that said, just to be clear, my clients have no interest in playing for less than this amount. Mm-hmm. And then there's been rumors that some Challenger players have been offered $10,000 to $15,000 an event. Mm-hmm. Others have been offered, 3 to 6.
But once again, going back to my initial.
Well, people want to win. They're competitive, right?
But what does winning give you?
It gets you. What does winning PPA get you?
Money. It doesn't get.
It doesn't get you money right now either.
In MLP, it doesn't. No, you get prize money in PPA. In MLP, you only get money at the midseason and at the end of the year.
Doesn't winning get you to the end of the year tournament? Gets you to the playoffs?
I mean, as long as you're top 8 or something like that.
So you win now, that gets you to the playoffs. That gets you money at the end of the year.
No, but I'm talking more so on the team side.
It gets.
Yeah. You don't get money for winning. You as the Black
but you
Bears,
get value in your team. The Yankees are worth more than the A's.
I mean, that's
because
a different
they
topic.
Have more, they have more championships.
Yeah.
They're a bigger brand.
Yes, they're a bigger brand. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's why they're worth more. But you think they'd be as big of a brand?
But
if
that's
they
not
winning?
because of their. It goes back and forth.
Yeah, but that's.
But like
that's
the Black
you're not
Diamonds,
getting PPA money right now, anyways. You guys don't get PPA prize money. PPA signed players.
We do. Yeah.
Prize money on top of.
Yeah.
On top of your contract.
Yeah. I mean, it's not much, but you do get prize money.
Yeah, but it's not. But that's not what you're playing for.
You are. I mean,
you're not.
You're playing for ranking.
Yes, that's what you care about, right? You care about winning and ranking. And if you're if you're playing a championship match, when you and Connor were in Minnesota, and you're playing the championship, you wanted to win because you wanted to win. You didn't want to win for the $1,500.
No, of course not.
Yeah. And
but I'm coming at it more so on the team side. Like, what is the incentive for these teams?
It's just the values. It's trying to grow the league, and it's the team values. And it's a bunch of,
because you can create exposure without winning. The Utah Black Diamonds, they're getting sponsors. They're getting awareness. They have a billboard in Utah.
Yeah, but those sponsors also will help, right? Like those sponsors will help you get money too.
I just don't understand it.
I mean, imagine if you approach a sponsor and you say, we're the 3-time champions. You're going to
Yes, but would you rather have them approach you or somebody else approach you that has 10 million subscribers and say, hey, we have this amount of exposure.
That's true. Yeah.
So that's where I don't understand it.
Yeah.
All right. That was side tangent as well.
Yeah.
Anything else? We have a ton of questions that we'll try to get to.
Yeah, let's get to questions.
But first, we got to give a big shout out to Vulcan. They are the official ball of the PPA Tour and also the ball that they are using in MLP. It's great. They have a new version of the V Pro Flight, and thus far, the feedback has been very positive.
Yeah, it's honestly, I am not sure we had a single ball go out around in any of our matches in MLP. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It didn't.
It's becoming less and less of an issue.
Yeah, and it was hot and it was humid.
Yeah. And this is like 100-degree hot.
Yeah.
So
100-degree hot, humid, and And even though the ball softens, because that's what happens with anything that's plastic,
Yeah.
the ball stayed in round. And
that was the biggest complaint before, is that it would get out of round lopsided. Yeah. But with this new generation, this new version, it's going to be awesome. It is awesome. And if you're wanting to play in PPA tournaments, MLP, you need to practice. You need to play with the ball that they're using.
Yeah.
Go to Pickleball Central. We don't know if our code's active, or go to vulcansportinggoods.com. Our code is 100% active there. Yeah. Use code KOTC. Thank you, Vulcan, for the support. All right. You ready for questions?
Yeah. Let's do some questions. I am pumped.
Also, real quick, we got to give a big shout out to, I was about to sing, but then I realized I'm not the best singer. Holy. Boom.
Product.
Check them out. So they are launching June 25th.
Yeah.
And are you ready?
I'm ready. Yeah. So I'm pumped. So look, it's Pickleball Performance.
So they're releasing new SKUs, new products, almost weekly, but they're starting with these two right here. So you have a electrolyte and then an energy one. Both taste amazing and they do their job.
Yeah. So this is kind of your pre-workout. So this is for, it's basically it says on there pregame. So you use it before you play. And then this is your hydration to use during your game. And then they're going to actually do a post game that has like BCAAs and things like that in it for recovery.
So they have what they call a program that
and then they have your greens as well to make sure you get all your vitamins and minerals and all of that.
But I'm not joking. This stuff is amazing.
Dude, the taste is great.
The taste is great. These tournaments, they're in pretty hot areas. Like we said, DC was 90, 95 plus humidity. Once you start playing 1 or 2 matches, you really start to feel it. Your body is so important, and taking these supplements is going to help you play and compete your best. So go check them out. They also have a giveaway, so stay tuned for that.
Yeah, big giveaway.
Thank you for the support. All right, you ready for questions?
Yeah, questions. I have some too. Let me see what I can pull up.
Are you nervous, Jimmy?
No, I'm actually not. But
okay, so we're going to try to go through these fairly quickly. Somebody said, would you want there to be somebody fetching the pickleball in matches like tennis does? So like ball people.
I kind of feel like maybe we're getting close to the point where it would be valuable.
I think on the sidelines or at the baseline, it could be useful, but I don't think at the net. It would,
maybe not at the net, but like there was literally a ball's going into the stand. I don't know, in the stands, and it's like you got to try and find the same ball. And but I think tennis court's so much bigger that maybe pickleball is not quite there yet.
Mm-hmm. Why did MLP team move from Seattle? So if you didn't know, the Seattle Pioneers, which I used to play for, they moved to Carolina. Yeah.
Tom Dundon, the owner of the Pioneers, owns the Carolina Hurricanes NHL team. And so I think it was just more of a fit for him to put it in Carolina. Mm-hmm. My guess is he already had some sponsorships and deals and things in place, and now he can kind of piggyback off of the brand he's already built.
Sure, Seattle is devastated.
Yeah, I'm sure that the people of Seattle are freaking pissed. I remember when the Sonics left Seattle. This is just as sad of a day. Kevin Durant and Ben Johns moving as well. I mean, it's really bad.
Real quick, a lot was talked about the jerseys.
Yeah.
What were your top 3 favorites and then top 3 least favorites?
So I really like the stacked jerseys. I'll be honest with you. I think our purple ones were fire.
Okay.
We had purple champ.
I like the tan ones with the pink lettering.
The tan one looked good too.
That actually looked really good.
I will say that the Shock have pretty cool jerseys.
Okay.
I think the Flash Lightning Bolt's too big.
Okay.
And then their name underneath it is tiny. Your green ones were pretty dope.
Yeah.
People are saying you're copying the Smash, but I mean, did the Smash are the only people that are allowed to use green?
Apparently. Their green is different too, though.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. I thought your green ones looked good. I mean, they weren't there, but the 5s are always going to suck.
Least favorite,
always the 5s. I didn't like the Flash. I'm sorry. That big lightning bolt, it's too big.
Mm-hmm.
It's huge.
That's what she said.
Yeah.
Is it?
Brooklyn has pretty cool jerseys this year.
Yeah.
They're all whites.
What are your thoughts on DC's?
So DC's are interesting because I think that the white ones, they look like the stupid Selkirk paddle that got banned.
Uh-huh.
And so I think they're ugly.
Okay.
Their black ones are okay.
I don't like the men's. So they have like
Yeah.
a bunch of the silhouettes of the skyscrapers and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I did not like that look, but I actually thought the women's, where it was just like all black.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is, right now they're putting the names of the sponsors in massive lettering on the front of the jerseys.
Yeah.
Should that be changed?
I don't. I think those
Because
sponsors,
as of right now, it looks like the DC team is the AARP team.
they do, but you're asking what the end goal is. That's part of the end goal, right? To get paid.
Yeah, but put a smaller one or something like that.
Well, they're paying a lot of money to be on the front. But that's how soccer does it. And Al Tylis is a soccer guy. He owns a soccer team.
It's not how basketball does it. It's not how
That's
football
true,
does it.
But basketball.
It's not how baseball does it. You're
I
playing
understand.
for the team, not the sponsors. You're playing for the team.
Well, if they had a huge TV contract, they'd do that.
You got a frog in your throat?
That's something, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, I'm back.
I think you guys should take a game, cut into it, highlights, and break it down weekly. Should we do that?
Yeah, that'd be fun. Should we do a new segment?
Yeah. Maybe we
Called-
should attach that in our newsletter.
Chalk Talk? What would we call it?
Jimmy's takes.
Called.
Tyler, what are the top 5-ish shots skills that make the most impact on a game? I'll let you answer a few of these.
Top 5?
Top 5.
I mean, I think it's all the basic ones.
Okay, give me your top 2.
I mean, I think that you've got to be able. So here's the thing that I noticed. There's a lot of players out there that can either forehand dink or they can backhand dink. They can't do both.
Mm-hmm.
So I think being
Even at the premier level.
Even at the
premier level.
I think being versatile in your dinking is big. Being able to dink with both hands. I would say, I'll give you an example. Riley Newman.
Mm-hmm.
He has shitty drops.
Mm-hmm.
His drops aren't great.
He's here in Utah.
He is? For what?
I'm playing with him later today.
You are?
Supposedly.
What's he here for?
No idea.
Oh, well, tell him I said hi.
Okay.
But he can't drop. His drops are high. And so, and then there's other players out there. I mean, I'll give you a great example. Emily Ackerman, even though our results weren't great, Emily Ackerman, when her drops are on, are disgusting.
Well, when a lot of people's drops are on.
Oh, I know, but they're on more than they're off. They're freaking disgusting. So that's another one, where being able to drop and drive. And then, yeah, I mean, I think that those are obviously the biggest things. The other one in the game right now with the paddles is you've got to be able to counter.
Okay.
You've got to be able to freaking counter.
I would say right now, like you said, power is very hot at the moment, very high at the moment. I would say off the bounce speed ups are very important.
That's big. That is big.
Yeah.
As long as it's a smart shot, not 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah. Okay. Somebody said, how can we stop the power paddle trend? Does Yola have to lose the lawsuit?
Well, allegedly next year it's $100,000.
We'll talk more about that in our next episode, but yeah.
But I think that they're going to come to an agreement.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, you don't want Yola to lose the lawsuit because Yola is still good for the sport. The money that they're bringing and their exposure is still good for the sport. You don't want Yola just to disappear from pickleball.
They're not going to disappear if they lose the lawsuit.
No, but if Yola ends up having to refund all these paddles, they've probably lost $100 million.
That seems a bit excessive, but
I mean, okay, maybe not, but that's still a lot of money.
Yeah. Do you guys think MLP is a little less interesting without a winner or playoff each time?
I see both arguments for it. I can see both sides. It would be interesting if they did do like a playoff champion and just paid people out. Like this last event, it would have been the Hustlers and the Shock or whatever, and they played at the end and they could make prize money each event. I think that would be interesting.
Somebody said, have you ever felt jaded from playing pickleball as a career? What do they mean by jaded? Like tired from it?
Well, like jaded means like
you feel left out on
yeah,
other things?
you feel left out. That's I don't know why you would.
Me personally, no. Pickleball, as we've talked about, is ever changing. It's every single day, every week, there's something new. It's a lot of fun to be a part of. So I feel very fortunate to be in the pickleball industry.
Yeah.
Great to see. We'll talk about that next time. If you guys did not live in Utah, what state would you choose to live in? I really like California. there's some crazy stuff over there, but I mean the weather is really
I
good
think
over there.
I think I could live in San Diego, in California. I went to DC, and then right after I went to New York. No thanks. Can't do it.
Somebody said, when do you get a trading card?
Oh, did Leaf reach out to you?
No, they have not. I'm not cool enough yet.
You'll get there. You'll one day.
One day I'll have to pay them a lot of money, and then I can.
One day.
Yeah.
Can I give you my complaint about New York?
Okay.
The airport was 11 miles from my hotel. 11 miles.
Took you an hour?
Hour and 32 minutes.
You got to take the subway. I
ain't doing subways, bro.
What, LaGuardia or JFK?
JFK.
Yeah, it's for sure faster.
Should have taken
the helicopter.
The air train.
Yeah. Rookie mistake.
And the Sky Club was full. That was annoying. So there's a line.
All right. Somebody made a comment about Jessie Irvin, who I am playing with this week. They said, in a very nice way, I'm editing it, but she is not good anymore. She couldn't even win with Ben. Thoughts?
I think she's coming back from injury too. Like she doesn't move well. I've said this a million times. She doesn't move well. She hasn't moved well for a while, but she had that elbow issue, and she told me about it actually at MLP. I asked her about it, and she literally shut it down from like December to basically till recently. Didn't play at all.
Yeah.
The doctor said if you keep playing, it's never gonna get better.
Yeah.
And so I think she's still coming back from that. But yeah, she's not.
I think her shots are fine. It's her mobility.
Yeah,
issues.
exactly.
Her shots are fine. When she's dinking, she's solid.
Yeah, which means you got to cover a lot of ground.
Is it common for pro players to date other pro players?
Yeah, 100%. If they're not dating, they're at least doing other things.
Yeah, I don't think it's that common to date, but for them to.
There's a lot though. Jaume is dating a pro player now. Lane Sleeth.
Yep.
We got
Hunter in Paris.
We got James and Anna. We got who else? We have some that are married. Martin and Tammy.
Matt Lucy, Tammy, Martin. Yeah.
Yeah, we have. Is there any others out there that we don't know of? Should we break some news?
What? I don't know what you're talking about.
Who's dating who?
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. I think it's fairly common. If you look at all sports, I think it's fairly common.
Yeah. Well, you're around each other so much.
Yeah.
Right?
Somebody said, okay, so we need to stop with the screaming. The girls are a bit too much now.
Thoughts?
I think it's too much. Way too much.
Too much?
Way too much.
Amen. Agreed. Stop.
And it's one thing if your team is hitting a good shot or a winner, but it's another thing when the other team is making a simple unforced error.
Yeah,
I feel like you would like that.
Well, if you put a dink into the net and the other team like yells,
screaming their heads off,
it's ridiculous. Like bring back the vuvuzelas if you're just going to be that annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was stupid. How come it's always DC? How come it's always DC that does annoying, loud stuff?
And then I feel like I love the energy. I love it. But when players are trying to do it to get into the heads of the other opponents, when they're staring them down, when they're looking at them, I just think it's silly. I think it's silly. Like, what are you guys going to do?
What are you
guys going to do?
Mo Alhouni, after every shot. Every single shot, he would literally yell, see. Now,
George was making some good comments.
Yeah.
Over there.
Now, one, he doesn't speak Spanish.
Is that cultural appropriation?
Yeah, I mean, it has to be. He's from Liberia. He's not from...
He might speak Spanish.
You think?
I don't know. A lot of those tennis guys
but
speak
I
Spanish.
would say that being on his team, it probably gives you energy, but playing against him, it was annoying.
Yeah.
But again,
I just don't get, that I actually understand, like pumping yourself up. But when these players are staring these other players down, it's so comical to me. It's like,
but again, it's
what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yeah. And again, it's one of those things where you probably love him if you're on his team and you hate him if you're not. And it worked. So, yeah.
Okay. We'll do a few more questions.
Got some good ones.
Yeah, just skimming through them.
Someone asked me why Spencer Smith.
Mm-hmm.
We know Spencer. We know his game really well. I thought he played pretty well for the most part.
Yeah.
Spencer has a very underrated drive. He's steady. Also, the best thing about Spencer is his demeanor. He's just very chill. He's not too, never gets
I played with him maybe 2 to 3 years ago, and I was essentially his partner for an entire year.
Yeah.
We had some good wins. We beat the Johns brothers. We got a couple thirds, I think.
Yeah.
And so he's a good player.
He never gets too high, never gets too low.
Yeah.
He's just chill. And honestly, you have to pick off, if a player's injured, if you're not, you have to pick off of a select list.
Okay.
And we felt like he was the best fit for us. And I thought that considering the circumstances, he did great.
Okay. Anything else you want to add?
No. Yeah, MLP was fun. Now it's getting even crazier, and now they have this midseason tournament coming up.
What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Ben's team, Carolina? So you have the number 1 pick, and then he goes out and picks Colin Johns, his brother, and then Andrea Coop and Jesse Irvin. And rumors are that,
There's no way that Coop can be happy on that team.
Okay.
I haven't talked to her. I don't know, but there's no way she could be happy. You just can't be.
Mm-hmm.
And they got to move her, and they got to keep
What about
her happy.
Jesse? Why wouldn't they move Jesse?
Or move Jesse.
Uh-huh.
They got to do something to upgrade that team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure why they didn't go out and try to get Elise. Right? If Elise was on the trading block, I'm not sure why they didn't go out and try to get her. I think Elise would.
Does this tarnish his reputation?
No, because again, it's one event.
No, but assuming this continues,
what reputation does he have?
GOAT?
No, he'll be. Yeah, they were like this last year with Lang and Schneemann and Jesse, and they ended up winning it.
Yeah, that was only 2 events, and it was a little bit different back then as well.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. Like I said, it's one event. That was their first event of the year.
Mm-hmm.
We're not even 15 to 20% through the season. You know? So, yeah.
Gotcha. All right. If you made it this far, please do us a big favor. Hit that like and subscribe button. Also, if you're wanting to stay up a little bit more up to date with
how much
stuff,
do you love us? How much do you want to see?
subscribe to our newsletter. And if you're an addict wanting to do 24/7 nonstop pickleball, join our Discord.
Did you see my boy Camden won a pro event? Camden Chafin?
I did see that. Yeah, people were talking about it.
That's pretty.
That's
big
awesome.
Deal. Yeah.
Is it APP or what was it?
It was something different.
Huh.
But it was.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So congrats, Camden. Shout out the pickle paddle too.
Okay. We will also be doing another episode, more so highlighting the PPA San Clemente tournament coming up next week. And then after that, we should be back on schedule with a normal routine.
You know who else was in DC?
Who else?
Who I saw?
Who?
Borski. Liv Borski.
Borski Nation, right?
She wasn't working.
Yeah.
She just showed up as a fan.
There you go.
I think that's cool.
That's awesome.
Like they just come as like on her own dime as a fan.
Have you ridden Segways?
Yeah.
They're so fun.
Bro, you guys look like
So we took a tour all around DC. Yeah. Incredible.
You and I were going to share a moment in the Holocaust Museum.
Oh, yeah.
And we had to go do someone's laundry.
Yeah.
But DC is awesome.
Yeah.
It was cool.
Okay. Thank you. See you guys next time.